hello. So I have watched Kung Fu Panda 4 in cinema, and I don't think the movie is really good. Yeah. Oh God. I mean, when I first saw the trailer, and thought it was like, and they announced that there was gonna be a fourth movie, I didn't really think much of it. I mean, I already thought like Kung Fu Panda 3 wasn't really that good of a movie, as in comparison to Kung Fu Panda 1 and 2, which were fantastic movies. And I didn't think the fourth movie was gonna be that good. But oh my God, I was not expecting it to be that bad. Oh God, where do I even begin? Like, okay, the marketing for the movie made it seem like everyone was gonna come back. Like, I think like the director stated that like all the characters were gonna come back from like the previous movies, but this is very misleading because the villains, they barely show up. I mean, they're there, but they don't have much screen time. They don't really say anything. The only character who says things are Tai Lung, which isn't much, but like Shen and Kai, they don't say anything at all. They don't fight Po at all. I mean, we get like brief transformations from the chameleon where she transforms into them, but that's about it. They don't say anything. They don't do anything. It's very misleading for that. The Furious 5 especially, they're just not in the movie. They try to justify it by saying, oh yeah, they're off doing something else. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. So they're just not in this movie. And oh God, they only show up like right at the end when they're training this new characters then, and that's about it. That's all they do in the movie. The whole movie did not really feel like a movie. Like, if that makes sense. It doesn't feel like this grand spectacle that I was expecting it to be. It felt very like small scaled. It felt very small scaled. It didn't really feel like this big adventure. It also doesn't help with like how bad the pacing is of the movie. It's very... The pacing is so bad. Like, scenes just happen. They just happen, and then they move on to the next scene. They happen, and then they move on to the next scene. It's very fast. It doesn't really leave much room to breathe. I mean, like, the plot is it doesn't feel like a personal story or anything. It's just Po goes to this city, which is controlled by the chameleon, and Po has to defeat another villain. Yeah, that's what it feels like. The main plot is like the way the movie begins is like the chameleon is like shape-shifting into Tai Lung, and I thought, and they brought up how she can shapeshift and that she can be anyone. But that whole thing is just dropped entirely because the one scene where she was introduced, she's not really, as evil as like Tai Lung or like Shen. What she does is push someone off the stairs, and that's the most she does. The rest of the movie, she's just sitting in a throne, in her throne room, and that's about it. The chameleon's motivation is so weak. So, and I'm not crapping you. Her motivation is not only very generic, like she wants to take over the world. Like, not only that, but like the reasoning for that is so bizarre. It's like she was like kicked out of kung fu schools because of her size. I'm not kidding. Like, she was ridiculed for her size and rejected from multiple schools, which is bizarre because Mantis and Viper are very small and they're kung fu masters. So I don't understand. It's like they completely forgot they existed just so this plot can happen, which makes absolutely no sense. And and her power is she can steal people's kung fu with ease. So what's the whole point of that? I don't understand the whole point. If she could just take someone's kung fu with ease and transform into anyone, then what's the whole point? Oh god. The main plot is like Po, like Shifu tells Po that his time as the Dragon Warrior is like soon going to be over, which is bizarre to me because like why does he have to choose one now? That's and I'm not kidding. Like Shifu tells him, "Oh, just choose one right now." And they have like this whole festival where Po has to immediately choose one, but he doesn't choose one because he wants to be the Dragon Warrior. And it's bizarre. It's like, why would Shifu do that? Why would he do that? Why would Po is like not even prepared for anything at all? It feels like, I mean, this is such a weird thing to like start the movie off, because like why does my question is like why does Po has to choose someone now? Because like Oogway was like very old and very wise. Like how old was Oogway that he had to choose Po? But Po is like still young and energetic. Why does he already have to choose another Dragon Warrior? I mean the idea of Po becoming a teacher and teaching someone else to become the Dragon Warrior, that's not a bad idea. But the way it's executed in this movie is so poor. I mean, we get introduced to this new character, Zen, who is introduced as this thief who doesn't trust people. And Po and her go on this journey to the city where the chameleon is. And all it really is Po is nice to her. And that's about it. There isn't really much development between these two. And then near the end, it's like revealed that Zen was the apprentice of the chameleon. And I'm not kidding when I say that. We barely know what the relationship between the chameleon and Zen actually is. Because like they show that like the chameleon took her in since she was a child. And she became her apprentice ever since. And I'm not crapping you, this reminded me of Kylo Ren and Snoke. It's pretty much the same thing. We don't know what the relationship is, we don't know anything about it. And after like one insult, Zen immediately turns on the chameleon. And she's suddenly a good guy and wants to help Po. And then she hugs Po and is like, no, I don't want you to go after her or something. So like the chameleon uses Po's staff to open a portal to the spirit realm and take the kung fu of all the masters. And it's like, oh no. Po like just forgets that he has a staff throughout the whole movie. He barely uses it. This thing is like so overpowered, but he barely uses it. And the chameleon can steal people's kung fu with ease. So every time I question myself, it's like, why doesn't Po use his staff during the fight? Why doesn't the chameleon just take Po's kung fu so he can't do anything? It's like so easy. And then Po is like trapped and he can't do anything, so he asks Zen to take the staff and try to defeat her. And Po just doesn't, and then later it's revealed, oh, Po could have escaped from that thing the whole time. It's like, oh, what? Why would you let Zen fight this evil sorceress who is so powerful all alone? And then Zen does like this one move which Po taught her, which is kind of bizarre because Zen is a criminal and Po just told her how to use the staff. And Zen uses the staff, which is like, she uses this move, which seems like the chameleon had enough time to do something to stop her, and she doesn't do it, and then she beats her with ease with the staff. She had like, that was like, she goes down in like 2 hits with the staff, and that's about it. And this movie, and then at the end of the movie, all the villains like go around Po, and then Tai Lung is like, perhaps Oogway wasn't wrong about you, and they all like respect him, which is so bizarre because like I would think like characters like Shen would have like some beef with Po, but no, they all respect him, and then they happily go back to the spirit realm with the chameleon, and then they leave. There's also this whole subplot where like Po's 2 dads follow him to the city because they're worried about him, which is bizarre because Po is a kung fu master. He has gone through so much, especially in the third movie where he's fought like an evil spirit person, and they don't believe in him to be able to defeat the chameleon. So we get this whole subplot of like multiple scenes where those two go to like the locations they were and just spend the time with those two going to find Po. And then when they meet up with Po, I thought there was gonna be like a whole thing where like they try to convince him to come back with them or something. But no, they help him get to the fortress to defeat the chameleon. So all I thought to myself was, what was the whole point of that? What was the whole point of that? They could have taken the whole subplot away and spent more time on Zen and Po, which they really could have used. Oh god. I swear to god, this is so bizarre. And yeah, at the end of the movie, the Furious Five show up and they trade Zen, and then the movie is over. I don't know what the... This is a really weak movie. It's really... There's just so much that just does not work at all. Would I really recommend watching this movie? Not really. What can I say? I mean, like... No, I wouldn't recommend you watching this movie. I mean, like, okay, like, the animation is fine, the action scenes are okay. Some of the jokes made me laugh, but like, that's about it. I thought the story was very weak, which is bizarre for me to say because this is Kung Fu Panda and it somehow managed to be worse than Kung Fu Panda 3. Like, okay, it's probably better than Megamind 2. But overall, it's pretty weak. Like, I wouldn't recommend watching this movie, really. So, yeah. That's it. Go play Ratchet and Clank or something.